Amazing. Every single word of what you just said is wrong. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Folks, I want to talk about Jedi Master Luke and what you do when you unlock him. There's a lot of different things he can do. He's one of the most multifaceted characters in the game. He's a really strong galactic legend, and there is a lot going on. And so, let me know in the comments if this is the kind of format you guys really want to see, or if not, whatever. Tell me what you want to see. But the thing is, a lot of people will unlock a character because people say he's good, but then they don't know how to use him, especially in all the different game modes and everything. And so we can't cover like every single game mode, but I do want to cover like arena, especially like GAC, the PvP aspect, because that's what I'm good at for the most part. And then he's also good in territory battles, which I'm also actually pretty good at. And also want to show you guys some uses for like Conquest and stuff. So we're going to cover some game modes. We're going to talk about modding, and we're going to talk about which Zetas to give him, hint, all of them, because we're not going to skimp on him. He's a really good character. What relics you should give him, etc., and a couple abilities, just the general approach and understanding to him. So, guys, if you want to support this channel for free, all you got to do, please hit that thumbs up button or leave a comment. If you want to do both, that would be amazing of you. All you have to type is algo, and we're off to the races trying to mount said algorithm. And if you don't want to be lazy, you can type the whole thing out. You can type literally that sentence, the whole thing out. You can type nothing. You can type a combination of any of the things I've just said, or something of your own creation. You literally endless possibilities, guys. If you want to support me, you can do what you want. So that being said, let's actually go talk about his modding first, and then we're gonna do some Supreme Leader Kylo fight without an ultimate. I'll show you guys a live Jedi Master Luke fight, and then some territory battle stuff, and we'll move along. Whoa, why? We're in the game. Why is Grumpface Luke just hanging around? We all know that he's not. He hands around a little less than most, just because he only has one hand, and then he has a robot hand. He's akin to Maul, actually. He's robot hand, robot leg, whatever. It doesn't matter. It really truly doesn't. So, Jedi Master Luke, folks. People ask, why should you put his ultimate on him? And there's a whole debate. I can't get into the whole thing. But the thing is, if you want to use him to climb in arena and you want to fight against some of the really top teams, that ultimate is really, really going to help, as you guys will see. So I would recommend getting the ultimate. Some people recommend getting all of the little donuts, is what they call them, the little materials, to be able to get him. You can just like save them, and then the next galactic legend you unlock, you can just put them on that galactic legend. That works. That's viable. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but you can do that. That's an option. And yeah, so if this is your first galactic legend, you don't necessarily know much about galactic legends. I can't tell you every single thing, but we will go through a couple. So because he gains a lot of bonuses from every level of mastery, you do want him as high relics as you can. If you want to pinch lifetime, or not lifetime, but matchup banners in GAC, I guess you could go down to keep him at relic 7. I just think relic 9 is super. Relic 9 is just his really awesome level. Like relic 10 might not be as great, but relic 9 is just, it's like built for him. It's the best. He's one of the very best characters with it, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But first we have to understand how his abilities work and everything before we can actually get into how to mod him and everything. So there's a lot of different elements going into things. So his leadership is the biggest one. So he's going to taunt. He's a taunting tank, and not to be confused with a tauntaun tank, which, he did wear a tauntaun as a sleeping bag at one point, so that was pretty fancy of him. Though I don't know if tauntauns would be tanks if they came into this game, which is total just rampant madness and speculation. So he does taunt as long as he has protection. So protection is already important, but it's even more important in a minute when you look at inherited teachings. So if he is the leader, all Jedi on his team gain this ability, and what happens is they call someone on that team to assist. That builds up his ultimate ultimate when you have it, and that's how you get his ultimate, is just by spamming this ability. And what happens is you call someone else on the team to assist, but they only do 10% of their normal damage. The other damage, there's two aspects of the damage. The other damage, which is the more significant part, is filtered through Jedi Master Luke's protection stat, and because it's true damage, then it's also something that will do a consistent amount of damage to each character. True damage just means there's no crits and it ignores defense. So like if he has a certain amount of protection, then he'll do, like, every time someone is called to assist, they'll do like 87,000 damage, 87,493, 87,493, etc. Doesn't matter who hits him. The 10% damage that they do, it will vary from character to character, but like Hoda can do it, Barriss can do it. It's really fun to see some of these characters who don't hit very hard still hit, like start hitting like a truck because of Jedi Master Luke. So that's an important one. The other one to keep in mind, folks, is Flux. So he does a lot of debuffs and everything, which is nice as a Jedi. Like, Jedi like to do buffs, and he does good buffs, but like a big part of what he does is debuff people. So when he does Flux, it's an AoE. It removes 20% turn meter from everyone. It inflicts ability block, and it inflicts breach to everyone. But it does go through a potency versus tenacity check, and if you don't have high potency, you're not going to land it on some of these guys who have middling to strong tenacity. So check that out. Of course, that one is really important as well. The other aspect, folks, is that looking at his modifiers, his relic amplifiers, whatever you want to call them, based on how much stuff he gets. So one of his uniques gives him double what these stats say. So because he has Jedi Legacy or Jedi whatever it is, he has a buff that doesn't go away, and he gains double this because his mastery isn't just 70, it's increased by 100%. So it's at a 40%, or it's at 140. So he's gaining extra protection and health here. He also, because he's a tank, he also has crit avoid doubled. So it's going to be at what, 73? No, 63. Gosh, I can math, guys. I'm pro math, okay? So he's at 63 crit avoid just because he is at relic 9 here. But the thing is, once he's 63 crit avoid, then he also really benefits from an arrow that's crit avoid, so that he can't be crit. So lots of different ways to go about this, folks. And let's look at his mods. The modding for him is very complex. Really what you want is just to max out your protection. Now, notice, speed is also very important for him. You need him to not be a laggard, but speed isn't the most important. You need protection on everything that you can. The crit avoid, I haven't decided, guys. The plus 35 is nice because then he becomes essentially non-critable, but at the same time, if someone has advantage, they're still going to crit him regardless. I think I'm going to swap that out for protection. The only problem being, folks, is this is like a custom build mod for him almost. Like the extra speed and then the potency is just so nice because you want a high potency. You want to give him the secondary set. Generally speaking, you want the potency set. So my ending stats and my protection is pretty comparable to most people's. If you have the crit avoid arrow, you can have it significantly higher, of course, if you have another protection arrow. So 130k, something to shoot for, I guess. And then potency, you want it over 100 if you can. I have some pretty good modding, some pretty good mods with secondaries on potency and stuff, and that's important. All of my mods actually have potency to some degree. And then, of course, we have the crit avoid, which is at 66.5. And then he gains the additional stuff from his unique ability as well. So, he's a pretty tricky guy in terms of speed. He doesn't have to be this fastest. Like, in some ways, it's nicer for him. If you're countering Kenobi, it's actually kind of nicer for him to be slower. So that being said, folks, let's actually jump into a fight. I think we'll start with Supreme Leader Kylo and work our way up. And this isn't Supreme Leader Kylo, but we can make it that way. Okay, so here, I'm going to explain how this fight goes, folks. So what we do have, this is on my alt account, actually. This is just a recording that we do, that I did, but what's happening here, folks, is we want to make sure that Hux is controlled so that you don't want Supreme Leader Kylo to get a lot of turns, and so we don't want Hux to hand turns to people. We don't want Red Trooper to be cleansing people. We don't want Supreme Leader Kylo to take a ton of turns in a row, especially his non-basic moves. So, of course, we're using a lot of really strong Jedi. You can break them up if you want. You're less effective if you do. So, here's the thing. If you see that their Hux has over 200 tenacity, you're probably still not going to apply that ability block. But if you don't apply his ability block, there's still recourse. What's going to happen is, so Kylo did not actually get ability blocked. He did his poke, which is unfortunate. But Revan gets a turn. He ends the turn to Luke, and then he can stun everyone. So now, Kylo can dispel everyone with a swipe. So you want to increase his cooldowns. It doesn't matter who hits him, and you're going to be stuck behind that taunt for a while. You can see we're not working on our ult, so we can ignore taunt with Revan. We can ignore taunt with Jedi Master Luke, but the rest have to just hit people who are taunting. And so you can see I'm just using most of my main abilities, but like with Jolee, he doesn't hit hard, but because he's calling Luke to assist, Luke does some damage, but then because of the special that Luke is giving him, this leadership special, I should say, then he's able to just do a ton of damage. Even though Jolee normally doesn't, he calls that assist and he starts doing a huge amount. So you can see we're just taking down the team, and slowly over time, like if you can keep him ability blocked until the majority of the conflict is over, that is wonderful. You just need to be mindful of both Hux and Supreme Leader Kylo and their cooldowns. So we can't go super in depth on this counter, but this does work. Obviously, you can see it, and my opponent might have been a little better modded, of course, if he had known how to mod them. But we're good. Like this is generally how it plays out. It might get a little dicier, but this is one of the easiest teams out there to counter with this team. So here's Supreme Leader Kylo. Let's actually skip to territory battles for just a moment, folks. And this is if you don't have the ultimate, you can still do this. And even if you do, it's nice. So this is wave 1. So this is, day 1. It's not that difficult comparatively, but you can see that we're using Jedi Knight Luke as lead, and that's very possible if you're taking Jedi Master Luke, because you're fast, and being fast means that you can use Jedi Knight Luke's leadership. So you can start with F-Lux, but usually you want Luke to get a turn immediately here in territory battles, and then he can stun everyone because you're afraid of that spy on the end there in the corner. Because he's stealthed, you can't access him right now. No one can target him. So if you can take out the B1, you can take out the rest of them, then it's pretty nice. So in a lot of ways, Jedi Master Luke is just kind of the engine that gets everything started. And the idea here is to take these guys out slowly over time. Remember, this is on my alt, and so a lot of these relic levels are really low. Like Grandmaster Yoda is like relic 1 or something like that. So he's not doing much damage, but we're trying to increase cooldowns here. We don't care about getting Jedi Master Luke's ultimate, of course, because he's not even in the leadership, and it wouldn't actually do him any good. He can't get his ultimate without his leadership for the most part. You can in one of the assault battles, but that's kind of besides the point. So here, let's fast forward just a little bit, folks. So they're slowly taking this team down. Yay. And the idea, though, is if you can, at the end of the turn, at the end of the phase, do the big leadership ability, the big assist from Luke, then you can, and kill the guy, then Luke will start the turn off with his stun, and he can stun everyone right off the bat, and you can move along. So he is stunning here, I think because that spy was just about to take a turn. So it's a little bit suboptimal. We're not going to get the stun at the start of wave 2, but we'll be able to stun at some point. So we can call Luke to assist here if we wanted to. And of course we're just abusing Grandmaster Yoda's ability to double tap on these different droids, etc. But oh wow, this is speeding up. I don't know what's happening here, folks. I don't know why it suddenly decided to go super fast. Okay, so we've got these geos here, and all right, let's just back up for just a second here, folks. Okay. All right, this is pretty weird. It's going very quickly. Okay, so we did kill someone with that Luke special. We're able to immediately get the first turn. We get the drop on the Geos, and we can stun them. And then the AOE damage from Jedi Master Luke is able to get all these debuffs on them, and as well as do a ton of damage to each one individually. And then over time, you just kind of chip away at them. Jedi Revan is marking people, and I know that this team is. You probably need to chop it up a little bit in a lot of different phases for territory battles, but I'm just showing you guys how he interacts with Jedi Luke, because it's kind of nice. Like, Jedi Luke has a really good leadership, but it only works really well if you have a Jedi Master Luke right there next to him, or like a really fast like Shaak Ti or something. But even that is not enough sometimes for territory battles. So you just keep refreshing this fight and keep doing it, and eventually you can prevail. So let's I'll give you guys the satisfaction of seeing how this ends. So, they're all sharing their stats. It's just really frustrating because every time you go to hit him, it looks like he heals because he does health equalization. And, eventually they start taking some turns and stuff. It gets a little nerve-wracking. But you can, once you get him down, that Brute Alpha, then obviously life is better. Oh, here we go. And Jedi Master Luke's like, done, son. Look at all those debuffs from a Jedi team. It's pretty nice. So there's that, folks. Now let's look at Conquest real quick and some of the stuff you can do. So once again, we have Efflux here. We can start because we're faster than everyone. We can just do this, and this might just end up being the death knell for the entire team because they're going to take turns, and they're going to end up just like... okay, so here's the thing, guys. These guys are all about to die anyway, so it's almost just a moot point. It's like a cow's opinion, but here's what we can do, though. We can call Grandmaster Yoda to assist, and when he hits on his basic, he's going to inflict that potency down. So you can see potency down is here. We get a count toward that, and then we just want to do a basic with him, so we get potency down again, and then we'll put Master's Training on him, so he gets potency down again, and then we'll call him to assist. He'll get potency down again, and we can just keep going like this. Well, we can do an AoE here for fun. Oh, we actually did potency down here. And now once they start taking turns again, they all explode because they have all the thermal detonators on them. But, and it's taking a while to process all of this because there's so many debuffs going on. So let's send him over to hit again. And now we can just have him hit again. And they're all just slowly exploding. Or maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's a little quicker than, But because you're using his lead to call to assist, you're getting all the potency down, and you can manipulate your situation using that leadership. So let's do the final fight, folks. I'm going to show you in-game how it works against Jedi Master Kenobi. So we'll just pick someone at random here, and I'll show you guys how it works, and you can see that it's authentic, and I'm not just cherry picking, because I feel like a lot of people do that on YouTube these days. No shade. Well, some shade, because I hate it when people cherry pick. It drives me nuts. Whoa, we're in the game again. How'd we get here? Madness. Okay, so... All right, let's try this Nasum guy. I've apparently fallen quite a bit, but... okay, so he has Kenobi Cat, and then he has all the different good characters here. So we can go in here. He's probably not like the most amazingly modded, but you do need like the good Jedi. That's not really a problem. So the first question, folks, is who goes first? Now, my Jedi Master Luke is generally slower than Kenobi's, but if he fails, there's a chance that we're gonna be faster. Okay, so here's the thing: we are faster here. Usually, we want to be slower. What we're doing here now, we have to be mindful. We don't want to increase Kenobi's cooldowns yet, and we don't. A lot of times, we could do the big AOE from his Efflux and get ability block, but if we fail against any of these vital characters like Kenobi or Kenobi, then everything's sunk because they can just dispel it and things get a lot harder. So in this case, because we're faster, we just use this to call an assist to hit Kenobi. That's all we got to do. So then Kenobi hands the damage immunity to Cat. Kenobi's next turn is going to be putting damage immunity on General Skywalker, which we do not want. Of course, that's not something we want at all. And so we're going to eventually use a turn to be able to increase those cooldowns. First, though, we're going to get Luke a turn, because we don't want Cat to, well, we do want Cat to actually take a turn here in just a moment, just to be able to get her big hit off on Jedi Master Luke. It looks like she is actually remarkably slow. We can stun everyone here, though, for funsies, and then eventually she'll do her big hit and be able to kill things, or not. We'll just have to see. So until then, we're just going to bide our time just a little bit here. We can actually just increase her cooldowns, and if we can just take her out, that's actually pretty cool. But here's the thing. We don't want to lose sight of Kenobi here. We're going to increase his cooldowns. Doesn't matter who we're going to call here. And then we need to work on getting his ultimate as fast as we can. Now, there is one reason we do want to do the AoE here, just to get the armor shred on Cat, and then we can do F-Lux here just because we can get an ability block on Kenobi because he had tenacity down temporarily. So now we've already used the Master's training on the lessons, whatever it's called, on Hoda, so then we can train General Skywalker, and we're just going to call General Skywalker here for a little bit. We want to, now note the bar above Jedi Master Luke's head will be increasing as we continue to use this ability. So there's the Savior ability triggered. Now we just need to take out Cat, and things will be a lot easier. Usually, we were able to take her down before he gets his ultimate, so this is going to be an interesting fight. Almost never do I have to do this fight when when they're able to when they're slower than me. That's almost never a thing. So all right, so took Cat down. Now we can target whoever we want. They're in their ultimate. We need to be careful though, folks, because they're in their ult. They're doing more damage. They're doing more stuff. So we want to hand the turn to Luke as soon as we can, just so that he can pop his ultimate. Once he pops his ultimate, it's pretty nice. We can stun everyone again. Now Kenobi is, oh, there he goes. So he got healing immunity on our General Skywalker. That's not great. They don't have anything really protecting them now, well, except for the ult. So that was perhaps a foolish move. But we can continue to just mark people. Now that we have the ultimate, though, we can target who we want. So that's pretty nice. We can also start putting Master's Training. Why don't we put more Master's Training on Luke, just because he's the one taking the hits. And it's pretty nice to be able to do that. So we can get Armor Shred on their General Skywalker, try taking him out. And you can see, I'm not even specifically modded to make all this work, but it still works pretty nicely. So Jedi Luke, of course, if you want to be able to dispel someone, you can always do that. You can put his buff on Jedi Luke, Jedi Master Luke, so if they hit him because he's taunting, and you can see his big AoE just eradicated the I think Ahsoka just died, and yeah, it's basically over. We have the high ground, despite the fact that they have an ability called the high ground. And that's basically it, folks. That's how you win in Arena against even way stronger teams. And if they're faster, then you don't have to defer the turn right away. You can just immediately increase cooldowns on Kenobi, and then you take the big hit from Cat and call it good here. In fact, let's just jump in. I'm not going to do the full fight, folks, but I will show you. Hopefully this Kenobi is faster than my Jedi Master Luke, and you guys can see how it works if their Kenobi is faster. And then we'll get you out of here. You can climb an arena with this team all the way to the top. Yep, so he goes first, hands the thing to what's her name? To Cat. And now I'm trying to think. Maybe in that first fight he did go first. I don't really even know. So right away, though, folks, we want to increase... Oh, no, he didn't go first. We went first. I'm sorry, I'm just taking crazy pills. So now, it doesn't matter who we have him hit. I guess we want just Skywalker, because he doesn't miss. So we want to increase Kenobi's cooldowns so that he can't put healing immunity on General Skywalker. So we do a negligible amount of damage. Kat does her big hit on Jedi Master Luke, and it doesn't kill him because he's a galactic legend. And then, once again, so we marked there. Usually we want to pass the turn to Luke so that we can stun everyone first. So that was a little bit of a blunder on my end. But, as you can see, I think everything still works just fine. Luke is just going to have to stun everyone on his own. And there's not as many debuffs. So... we can get there, but we're not going to show you guys the whole thing. We can leave them stunned and unwilling to admit defeat. And with that said, folks, let's actually just call it good. I really appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think of this format. Once again, I do... I love feedback. I would really appreciate hearing from you. So thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.